Okay, let me get this straight. The Eurozone economy has grown. Even the United Kingdom's economy has grown just a touch. But the United States economy, it shrank. Oh, I wonder why that could be. Now, this is happening in an environment where industry, factories for instance, are panic buying. They're stocking up on parts and components. But I suppose those parts and components haven't actually been paid for yet because those products aren't sold yet. It's just panic, you see, because obviously the tariffs will be coming into play in full force again. Unless, Donald Trump, President Dum Dum, decides to back down again. Now, you'd have thought maybe. Since there's a $90 billion loss in tourism coming into the United States, that the US would be obliging by doing a reciprocal boycott. And actually they are, for various reasons. You see, because the dollar's weak. They can't get a lot for their money. So when they travel to the Eurozone, to the European Union, to Europe in general, whenever they've got to exchange their money, they don't get as much for it anymore. No. It used to make sense, but it doesn't anymore. So they too, you'd assume, would be choosing holidays in the United States. Somewhere. To get away from the madness, maybe. But then you have a situation, I suppose, where you have an insular economy. You're recycling the money without actually increasing your money. You see, when people don't borrow, the banks are not printing more money for the increased GDP. People aren't spending the money. Consumer confidence is down, I suppose, as well, and that's going to stop people from wanting to spend more money. So I suppose it is understandable that the economy has took a hit in the United States, but not necessarily anywhere else. Now, Donald Trump had one of his little events, didn't he? It was an Invest in America event in the White House. He stood there, or sat there on his fat ass, telling the world how great the tariffs were and what a success they have been. And how American, or how industry is investing in America again. Building factories everywhere. Meanwhile, he takes credit for for the economy when Biden was in, but now he's blaming Biden for the fact that his economy is shit. This is just kind of cognitive dissonance or tribalism, Dunning-Kruger effect maybe. But he's a perpetrator of all these beliefs. He's the one spreading all these lies, and the people who are suffering with Dunning-Kruger effect, that tribalism, believe everything that he says. They are the lack of thinking. They certainly are. Maybe. Bobby Brainworm has something in it. In his conclusion that the fluoride in the water is affecting IQ levels of American children. Well, there you have it. That's why they're all thick as shit. Sorry, I just say it as I say it. And considering that the actual fact of the matter is around 30% of Americans don't get past year 11 in their standard of education. How can that be even possible? Now, old Donald Trump says, well, we don't need Chinese products. No, he says. We don't need them, no. Unfortunately, the people and industry that sells this stuff, well, they're saying that we do. Or that, the United States does need it. Now, he said, well, maybe the children we'll only get, $2 instead of $30, did Donald Trump say. The Donald. And maybe the $2 might be more expensive. Well, Donald Trump, I'm sorry, but you told everybody that, that country like China would be paying the tariffs. That's what you said. Are you saying that that's not the case now? Have you just contradicted yourself? Possibly. Because you're not that bright, are you? Let's be honest. No. The Eurozone is ditching US products. Canada's ditching US products. Mexico's ditching US products, etc., etc. And the trend goes on. And then you've got Amazon. There's Amazon building a new warehouse in Ireland to get away with some of these tariffs, you see, within the EU. Yeah. Unfortunately for them, they're also getting boycotted. But, it's not always that easy for some people. Now, we still have to use Amazon to buy certain things that we need to run this channel, because it's not really available anywhere else. And plus, the returns policy, it's got to be said, is very good. I kind of turn a blind eye at it. It's painful, but I have to do it sometimes, Now, there was a glimpse of hope that there was when the vote for the trade policy was so close. It was so close to stop Donald Trump in his tracks with his tariffs and what have you. But J.D. Vance, he flew, he did, just to make his vote, to save his messiah's policy, tariff policy. So you're stuck with it. That you are. No, this is not going to be particularly helpful. No. Wall Street is going to suffer even more. Everything is going to plummet even more. 0.3%. That'll be double next 3 months. Then double it again, then double it again, then double it again. You won't be having enough money coming in. Even with Donald Trump's tariffs. To just pay for services, but I don't suppose that really matters, considering they've literally, deleted the word service. It's too DEI, you see, yeah. It's not going to get easier. I think you need to buckle up over there. You need to make sure you got everything you need to try and ride this out. Try and think ahead. Unfortunately, not everyone's going to be able to do that because it costs money. And people will suffer as a result. Now, like when there's no money, when people have no money, when they're struggling to pay the bills or just buy food and medicine, well, where there's poverty, there's crime, you see. So crime rates are going to go up, not down. But Trump knows that. Since he's just, delivered military-style weapons to all the police forces around the country. Assault rifles and stuff like that, I suppose. And maybe a few claymores, Now, they're expecting that they're going to be enacting martial law. For a situation that is homegrown, they have created this situation with a much decreased economy, people having less money, less freedoms, less protections, less security. No security from the government itself, since they've got rid of the need for warrants to break down your door. This is definitely, it's a tyranny, headed up by Donald Trump. And my advice to you, which is easier said than done, got toothpaste on my lips, I think, would be to get out if you can. if possible. It's not easy, I know. At the very least, prepare yourself, and you know, chance prefers a prepared mind. If you know what I mean. Anyway, tell me what you think. Is this worrying you? Are you concerned? Because I think you should be. Nothing's happening quick enough. No. They're flooding the zone. And basically this is a hostile takeover by the US government. That's what it is. And I feel for you, I really do, because it's a situation that could have been avoided, but unfortunately those who probably are going to be hit the worst of all this are going to be the ones who actually voted for it. Voted for that tangerine tyrant, that gormless golfer. But unfortunately, is, you know, like I said earlier, you know, when you have a reduced brain capacity, you might make decisions that don't go in your own favour. It's like voting against your own best interests. And that's exactly what you've done. It's always the case, isn't it? You know, it's madness. Stupid is as stupid does. I would like to know how you feel about this, and are you worried, what have you? Please leave it in the comments down below, you know. And how's this affect your family, for Christ's sake? Not just the fact that you know, maybe you're worried about not having so much money, but, you know, how is it going to affect your relationships in your family? Marriages are broke up over this. You know, when times get tough, you know, marriages and what have you suffer anyway. Relationships suffer because, you know, can't pay the bloody bills. Can't feed the kids. Can't keep a roof over your head. People turn to alcohol and crime. Let us know what you think. Anyway, leave it in the comments down below. If you want to support the channel, do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee. And the links are down below. But I know I mock people, alright? But I do worry about people. And I am concerned about people's well-being. I'm just hoping that people come round. I think some people are lost and they'll never come round. But there will be a few. That there will. And the more that we can get on side to realise their errors and mistakes that they've made, the better, I suppose. Maybe the way I go about things aren't the right way, but there you go. Anyway, toodaloo, if you've got a support channel, do it on Patreon or buy us coffee, and links down below. And, you know, it's, what was it, super thanks as well? Or whatever it is, well, I don't know. But just click the like button if you would, you know, it all helps, you know. Oh dear. Oh, that's good to upload this video, I suppose. Toodaloo.